Wuxia worlds aren't too forgiving, and you might have to dive deep before you gain enough momentum to begin trading blows and navigating their worlds with style. Where Winds Meet take that to a new level thanks to its ambitious scope, and there are a lot of details that the game doesn't tell you. While that does feed into a sense of freedom and discovery in the open world, there are a few things you can try and track down first alongside a few nifty tricks that can save you quite a bit of time as you go about your business. So let's dive in and see what we find. Grab Ghostbind and Dragon's Head. These two mythic arts that work quite well together, allowing you to control the momentum of a fight while dishing out damage on your own terms, irrespective of your weapons. Ghostbind lets you freeze a few enemies in place once you unleash it, negating the threat that they present momentarily. The Dragon's Head, on the other hand, lets you harness the leaves and dust around you to attack with the fury of a dragon, unleashing a sweeping arc on your enemies to knock them back and create space while keeping them off balance with a slam. It's a great way to get some breathing room in case you're surrounded, and works very well with Ghostbind to manage multiple enemies thanks to its damage reduction and super armor buffs, making them a very useful duo in a pinch. Rain down fire from the shadows. For those of you looking to take a quiet, stealthy approach and strike from the shadows, the Veil of Stillness is a mystic art that could be of use. Activating lets you hide in plain sight, moving unseen through enemy camps without them being aware of your intrusion. But in an event that a fight does break out, it's always good to have something in your pocket, and that's where the Flaming Meteor comes in. The spear attack is a great way to deal heavy damage to dangerous foes, while the Meteor Slam lets you keep enemies caught in its area of effect off balance. You could then either launch an offensive or try to return to stealth based on the situation at hand. Skip waiting for objectives. As you wander the world and pick up quests, you might soon find that some of them require you to wait until day or night before you can track down their objectives. The good news is that, like many other massive open-world RPGs, you do have the option of turning the clock ahead and progressing the mission. Simply open the in-game clock and drag the slider to the required time and, well, you're ready to go. We could have saved a lot of time if the game had given us a heads up about this one, but discovering it was quite a thrill. Get the lay of the land. When you first enter a new region, you're going to be notified of a person you could approach to get a better idea of that region. While it can be tempting to just wander around and discover the world at your own pace, those of you excited about learning about the world and the story might want to take a more systematic approach. Talking to the individual in question will unlock maps of the area that can let you get your bearings and perhaps identify points of interest for you to poke around in the process. It's always an advantage to have a plan if you plan on being a hero after all. Get a horse soon. It's a long way to the top of your game, and getting there is going to involve a lot of travel. Fortunately, your journey doesn't have to be a lonely one, and you can get a horse quite early on if you don't want to walk or run around for too long. You can either steal a horse, which runs the risk of consequences in the long run. You could also use a specific skill to make the owner dismount to acquire their horse without anyone noticing. Try to make sure that you don't have too many people around either way if you really want to play things safe and protect your reputation. Unlock fast travel points. It's a strategy that's worked well for many open worlds, and Where Winds Meet is no exception. If there's a new fast travel point, also called teleport, for you to unlock nearby, take every opportunity to do so. This is a world that has so much to do, you're going to want to have the option to return to areas that you've already visited as much as possible. You never know when you might have to go back to that area or its vicinity, and being able to get there in a jiffy is always going to be helpful. The Wanted system. Make the most of the game's way of responding to crimes you and other players commit, and the ability to put out bounties on other players in order to make some fast money. In the event that you harm NPCs or damage their property, you will soon have a warrant out for your arrest if you're not careful. Doing so means that NPC law enforcement and other players now see you as a target. Other players have a few minutes to spawn into your world and hunt you down for your bounty and vice versa. But if you bring your buddies along, you're going to turn the tables quite easily, and it's likely they might expect you to be on your own. It's a game of cat and mouse that's very enjoyable indeed. Upgrade your martial arts. While it's a big world out there for you to explore, you might find that martial art upgrades are quite expensive. You'd be best served upgrading a few that you truly enjoy for the early hours, collecting more of them and experimenting with combinations before you hit your build's best permutation. From there, it's quite simple to refund the materials you spent on your initial set of arts, and then go on to make the ones you actually want to use as powerful as they can be. It also lets you keep mixing and matching with different arts and battle strategies. Take on a career. Aside from your character class, you can also take on specific vocations, such as being a healer or a scholar, with each one bringing its own set of quests to the table. In addition, you actually get to use your skills if you play online, with the option to help other players who require your aid. Healers can help treat injuries, while scholars can help you deal with any troubles you might run into as you take on the game's various complex systems. There are a lot of options, and choosing the one you feel best suits your character is going to make things all the more immersive. Join a guild ASAP. It's a good idea to join a guild as soon as you can in Where Winds Meet. For starters, you get access to the guild base where you can craft items, medicines, consumables, access to the store, and have a place to rest up during your travels. However, it's the online component that's the real draw, as weekly missions and exclusive dungeons that you can only raid with other guild members for useful gear. That makes seeking out a guild as soon as you can a good idea, since you also earn currency from your chosen one. Understand the PvP system. Designed to encourage you to get creative with your build, you might want to know more about how it works as you work your way towards taking on the best warriors in this wuxia world. The balanced modes, like the 1v1 arena, is a great place to test out your moves, perhaps even with a friend. A general rule of thumb for being successful is to understand the game's many character states and have multiple strategies without having to rely on one weapon or attack. You're going to have a bunch of seasoned warriors coming at you with relentless precision, and knowing how to respond with your own offensive is going to save you a lot of grinding your teeth. Learn how internal arts work. Aside from your martial arts that are tied to your weapons, you also get to equip 4 internal arts that are either universally usable across the board or tied to specific combat parameters and bring some sort of advantage to their use in battle. You're going to want to be quite strategic about the ones that you choose, since you only have 4 slots that you could need to synergize with up to 8 different martial arts sets. Balancing them in terms of their offensive and defensive utility, and even switching between them according to the situation, could be a great way to go about using them effectively. Hidden requirements for gear. If you come across a weapon or a piece of gear that you cannot equip, well, have no fear. It's simply because you haven't done enough activities in the open world and raised 3 important attributes that you might need before you are allowed to use specific items. Physical attributes are raised by clearing enemy strongholds. Your erudition can be improved simply by engaging with golden butterflies that appear as you're out in the open world, and your coordination is improved by playing cat puzzles that you find out in the world. The progression tracker. For those of you completionists out there, the game's journal features a complete progression tracker that lets you know of any pending activities in each area. That includes side quests, campaign missions, collectibles, bosses, and other actions you need to take to ensure that you've covered all of your bases. This one works very well in tandem with our next tip. Explore the world and rejoice. Without a doubt, Where Winds Meet is a game that works best when you just hit the road and see where it takes you. There's always something meaningful to discover if you go off the beaten track, and you never know just what you might gain as a result of engaging with every little side quest, secret, and mysterious occurrence that you come across. The game actively rewards those who try to tease out its secrets, and doing so is simply the best way to enjoy the experience that Everstone has put together. And that's a wrap on tips to get you started on the path to becoming a living legend in Where Winds Meet. We hope you enjoy playing it as much as we've enjoyed putting this one together for you. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.